I started working online when I was 15 years old, and if I had to start again, this is what I'm going to do. Now, I'm doing this over a little bit of a foggy day here in Japan. I'm with Mount Fuji in the background. That is not AI. That is not an invisible background or rain background. That is I'm really freezing. It's right now 1 degree, but I really want to tell you guys how to get started when it comes to working online, being a digital nomad, starting a whole business. I'm gonna break it down for you. Now, when I was 15, I was really lucky enough to be able to find a job as a ghostwriter for a couple of blogs. And when I was 18, I moved out. I basically wanted to go ahead and see what else was there in the world. And I was able to find a job for a startup company where I learned how a business runs, how a business works. And then since then, when I was 23, I started my business 2XU, which is a virtual assistant agency where we hire, manage, and train a ton of amazing virtual assistants. And at 30, I've become a full-time digital nomad where I don't have a base. I'm just traveling different parts of the world. And I'm gonna break it down how you can probably also get started if you're getting started today. Now, the first thing is if you don't have any experience at all, and I mean that you don't have any past work, not just remote work, any work at all, the first thing I would do is just skill building. And this is basically just the process of making sure that you've picked essentially what is the thing that you are going to give value in the world. So for example, for me, it was writing because I was naturally a writer. I was already a journalist for my school paper at that point. So it's easy for me to go into that. But you want to assess yourself on what skill you already might have. What are basically the things that people ask your help with? What are basically the things that you know what to do, even without thinking about it? And you can start with that. Now, if you have already done your skills assessment and you already know like, oh, this is the kind of thing I want to do, you can start looking at the job sites at the moment and see who's hiring for that skill or for that role that you want to go into. And the biggest reason for this is you want to start looking if this is something that you can get hired for. So first is the skills assessment, then you want to look at the skills if someone wants to hire for this, and then you want to focus on the skill building side of it, where you are just studying courses, going through books, you're learning from people who are the experts, maybe watching YouTube videos like this, and you're starting to see a pattern of what makes them successful and how you can do it as well. The second step or second stage basically is building up your portfolio. What that means is depending on the job that you're going with essentially or you're starting with, you want to build up some sort of experience, which is basically building out your portfolio. For me, I had it because I was a writer already. I had a few new newspaper clippings, or I had a blog at that time that I was actually maintaining myself. So I kind of had that experience where I already had a way for me to show off what I can do. Now, again, if you have no experience at all, you can go ahead and either find internships where you can just not get paid, but then you're getting the experience. You can be an intern for yourself, which is you're just going to create the things that you would be creating anyway if you were doing this as a job. Or you can just go ahead and make sure that you are giving value to a business owner in some way and you're doing it for free. So if you were going to be a social media manager, just offer your services for free to someone. Say like, hey, I'll maintain your social media for a month. I just want a testimonial from you. That way, whenever you are getting hired or trying to get hired, you basically now have a reference point and someone that you can point your future employer to of like, hey, I worked with these people, you know, even if it was for free, at least you still gained the experience to be able to get started. Now, as you've gained your experience, you're going to then build out more of your online profile. You're going to build out your resume. You're going to build out your LinkedIn profile. That way you'll have some sort of blueprint in the world. So then when you start applying, it's going to be easier to look you up as well as get to know more about you. A lot of the time when employers are hiring, there's a problem that they are trying to solve. Somewhere or the other, there's a problem that they have encountered in their business. They don't want to deal with it, or they don't want to do it themselves anymore. That's why they're trying to hire. So you want to build up essentially that mindset and point of view of like, I'm coming into a job to solve a problem, so I'm going to show up online as that. So you're going to, depending on how hardcore you want to do it, you can start posting your portfolio, you can start talking about your process, you can start talking about how you got started as well and what you're looking forward to. So then you're just, again, building up that blueprint. And then you're going to start applying. You're going to start looking at those jobs that you looked at before and start seeing which ones would be a better match for you, especially as you're just getting started. Now, Now, sometimes it might be a little bit hard to really start from scratch because a lot of the time employers are looking for people who have a little bit of experience. That's why working for free or doing some sort of internship really, really helps, because that boosts like, hey, I've done this before. I did it for free, but that didn't mean that I actually didn't do it. So you're already kind of starting to show up. Next is, as you start applying for jobs, you're going to track it and then you're going to prepare for it. So tracking it is you're making sure you have a spreadsheet or a tracker of some sort where you're just making sure that if you are applying for jobs that you are following up with them, you have their information, you know who their HR is or recruitment person is. That way it's easy for you to follow up. Now, preparing is making sure that you research them. You're trying to find out as much as you can about what they do, who they serve, and why their business exists. That way, when you show up for an interview, or even when you're just sending out your application letter, you can customize what you are sending them, and you're making sure that it makes sense for their business, and it makes it where you also stand out versus this, like the thousands of other people or hundreds of people who are applying for this job. You're making yourself stand out by specifically talking to them about how you can work with them in their business. Now, the next step is then, as you already are tracking or preparing, is then you are creating your routine as someone who works online. And this is an important thing. And this is only really comes if you've already kind of gotten some traction or you're starting to do that application, is you're creating your time of like when you would work, when you would, do your morning routine, work, lunch break, work, you do your ending routine, whatever that looks like for you. The important part of this is that you're already building up what your life would look like as you start working. That way it's easier for you to actually get started once you get the job. So you're preparing it already. Routines are going to be your best friend when it comes to working online or working from home. And if you want to build yourself up, it's going to be one of the key things to keep yourself on track as well. Now, I'm going to be doing the same thing if I was going to start a business. If I was going to start a business from scratch, I would do the same path that I walked you guys through. What kind of business do I want? Who do I want to serve? Doing it for free, going ahead and serving it to other people. But I'm putting it from the point of view of I am a business owner versus like I am an employee of theirs. And there's nothing wrong of one or the other. It really depends on who you are and what your goals are. But the main thing to keep in mind within all of this path is you want to give value in the world. It's really important that that's your point of view as you go through job hunting, as you go through starting a business, is you're giving value into the world in one way or the other, whatever that looks like. And that will actually be one of the mindsets that will propel you to everywhere else. It's not about just asking someone like, hey, can you hire me? Hey, can you do this for me? It's like, hey, I want to do this. I want to create value for you. This is how I want to show up. And that is one of the ways that you can definitely just stand out from the rest of the people who are applying for the same job as you. Now, I have built a community for you guys called AVA, or AI for Virtual Assistants. If you want to get started there, we have different challenges and walkthroughs and courses for you to be able to get started on your path to working online. You guys can check that out below. And if you guys like this video and the fact that I am freezing cold doing this video outside, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there. Comment below any questions you guys might have when it comes to working online. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Sunday on how to be able to work from home, especially with AI. And if you want to start your own business, I do have another business and AI channel right here. And check out the latest video right here. Hope you guys have an amazing and wonderful day. And remember that small steps matters. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.